Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. It's time for another Metal Earth kit, another Metal Earth build, and this time I have picked up the Black Pearl. It is a bit different than what I've been doing. I'm very much looking forward to it. I understand it is a simpler kit. It's a good one to start with is what I've heard. I can't wait to find out for myself. I look forward to doing it. But enough talk, let's tear this thing open and see what is inside. The Black Pearl. We have our instructions and our 2 sheets of metal. It is a 1-sheet piece of paper, kind of the older style. And this kit's been around a while, so that's not surprising. And we have in the top corner a little illustration of the ship, the ship, the model. And we have a little bit of notes about folds and insertion tabs, or tabs and insertion holes. We have the usual little needle nose pliers are helpful for assembly. And a little key, if you will. Blue circle means to bend the tabs 90 degrees, and green triangle means to twist them 90 degrees. And we have the layout of the 2 different sheets of metal so that we know where the parts are. And of course, they're numbered. And what I've learned, you take this in quarters. So this is the front page. This is here with these solid lines is the next portion. And you start with number 1, 2, 3, 4, and you put this together. And then once you get to this solid line, you move over to this bottom quarter. 5, 6, and you just, move on. Flip over to the back sheet. Quarter, 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 quarter. And there you go. Tools that I use for these kits. We have your standard tweezers. They've always been helpful. They're great for bending and twisting tabs. They're helpful in other areas. I have picked up the Metal Earth or Fascinations tool set, which has the flat nose pliers, needle nose, which are extra long, and clippers, which are great for getting the parts off of the metal sheets or trees or spruce. I'm probably going to need some sort of dowel rod or step mandrel, some rounded object to shape the sails. Large pin might do. Anything that you have that you can curve the pieces around to give them their shape. I may use some round nose pliers for shaping of parts. I may also need a pick, what I call kind of a dental pick. I have a few of those for reaching in and pushing and pulling parts. And I have a hobby knife, which sometimes comes handy for working into small areas, and prying things apart. Now that I've gathered my stuff, let's get started.
It is okay if the masts are a little wobbly at first. I noticed the online instructions are a little different than what I got with mine. The online instructions have you assemble it a little different. You attach the mast and ropes before attaching it to the deck. Either way, take your time. I spent a few minutes slowly and carefully sliding everything into place here. I test fit the hole and reshaped it a couple of times before attaching it. I wanted to make sure I did not miss anything or make any errors that would cause me more trouble and headache. The instructions say to bend the tabs over on the hole, but that did not make for a very secure connection. One of the tabs ended up popping back off. I elected to twist them slightly until I had assembled more of the kit, then come back, untwist the tabs and bend them over. I felt enough of the hole was together at this point to start bending the tabs over properly. I like to pinch down tabs that fold over with pliers to secure them. Then I went back to fix those twisted tabs. I used a dowel rod to curve the sails. I just had to find the right size for each sail. It is a good idea to bend the tabs so that they're all pointing in the same direction towards the next part. That helps things to fit together more easily. It was tricky getting some of the sails in place. There was not much wiggle room. This video has been edited down to a shorter version. I have not shown every part of the build. I try to clip out extra sections where I'm searching for parts, studying directions, and sometimes repetitive steps, while trying to keep relevant information. I clip parts where I have to try and adjust the parts several times to make them fit, twist tabs again because I didn't twist them tight enough, etc., etc. It may look like this kit come together easier than it did, but there was a lot of bending and adjusting of parts and tabs to make things fit. Here is where I acted on a false assumption and started trying to make the bottoms of the hull meet. Turns out that is not what you were supposed to do, and I had to spend too much time trying to straighten them back out.
The Black Pearl. I've enjoyed this kit. It's not as complicated as some of the ones I've been doing lately. It's fairly simple, just a little time consuming, but not that long of a kit. It's a good one to start with. If you're wanting to get into the Metal Earth kits, you're not sure where to start, Black Pearl's not bad. I will say I made one huge mistake, and I won't go through all the details of me trying to fix it. And you can see on the kit that the hull is a bit warped and twisted and not quite smooth. I misunderstood. I figured the directions, or I figured the kit, the bottom of it was supposed to come together to join the hull, and it's not. The bottom is open. The newer instructions online make that clear. The instructions that came with my kit did not. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what was going wrong and why it wouldn't stand up, and why was even the stand even made the way it was. So having made that mistake and then trying to correct it, you end up warping and bending and twisting so that the metal on the hull is not quite right. So bear that in mind when you're doing this kit. The bottom of the hull does not close. It actually stays open so that it will sit on the base. Otherwise, this kit went well. I really enjoyed it. The instructions online went in a slightly different order than the ones that I had. I really can't see it making a difference either way. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more kits and keep on keeping on.